Welcome back. This video is from the beginning of week 9. It's got packed full of great information. We're going to have a little recipe in the link below for you to check out. And tonight's sponsor, unofficially sponsored by Zylish. Zylish? Is that how you say it? Zylish Hyper Cool Sugarless Gum. This stuff is flavored with menthol, so it makes you think you're breathing fire. Man, like ice cold fire. Like, don't drink a cup of cold water when you're chewing this gum. There's a link in the description below you can check out if you want to buy some for yourself and torture your membranes. Alright, enjoy the video. In 7, 2, and 6. Welcome back, everybody. This is the beginning of week 9. Holy cow, the end of week 8. I'm having a hard time believing it's been that long. It's been crazy. We've done some more calculations on the weight loss. I am down by 35 pounds right now, according to when I started. Now, we've actually gauged about how much weight I've lost on average every week, and for those first 2 or 3 weeks that we weren't measuring because I didn't have a scale that would weigh me, we put on 5 pounds per week, which is completely and totally
valid,
valid.
if not low.
Yeah, exactly, because I always lose weight really fast in the beginning. So
those first 2 weeks, you probably lost close to 15 pounds, but we just put in 5 a week just to balance it out. So 35 is really lowballing.
Yep. We're going to say 35 pounds, that's 7.07% of my total body weight. Now last week we kept a food log because we noticed that the weight wasn't coming off as fast as normal. So I logged everything that I ate. Roberta analyzed it for me. It's totally valuable, guys. Trust me, because I thought I was eating just fine. But she found
he's eating really good. I just wanted to kind of fine-tune a little bit and find out what exactly he was eating day by day, and I thought I might catch a couple things that might be off, and sure enough I actually did. Yeah, it's really great when you have that resource to just double check when you think you're doing the right thing. I know I'm eating the right foods, but at the right times. Now this is where she comes in. So what I noticed was food all looks good. I'm looking at breakfast and I'm looking at lunch, looks good, and I get to dinner and there's just carbs, solid carbs, and a lot of them. Now, I told him carbs were okay because they were if they're whole wheat carbs, but what I guess I neglected to probably make really clear was carbs at night are not such a good idea, particularly for certain people. I'm one of them. If I eat carbs at night, it goes right to sugar, right to fat. And so carbs during the day are fine, you know, as long as they're complex carbs, but even complex carbs at night, you really have to be careful. And he was doing things like making the pizza, which would be fine for lunch, but he's eating half the pizza, so that the amount of carbohydrates he was having was probably like 90 carbs or whatever. It's just a lot. Yeah. And so again, it's healthy, but it's too much carbs. So we're going to cut that down a little bit and see if that makes a difference. I think it's going to, because like I said, at night, when you go to sleep, carbs turn to sugar, sugar turns to fat. It's just got nowhere to burn. Right. So we're going to tweak that a little bit, probably take it down about half for dinner, and that should help a lot. Cool. I'm planning, Jackie and I are trying to plan now, just do a meat and a vegetable for dinner. It's a great meal, you know, salmon and some vegetables, lean turkey and some vegetables, actual turkey, you know, she was telling me. I wasn't even thinking of that. I was thinking, oh, I can get ground turkey, I can do this. I can get actual turkey, you know. It's not just for Thanksgiving anymore.
Exactly. So yeah, we're going to be thinking about that. Chicken also, you know. White meat chicken. We actually found some ground chicken, also not ground, canned chicken, to replace the canned tuna that I was putting in my salads. That's fine. So yeah, and it's lower in sodium. It's lower. It had lower fat. I mean, it's good. It's a good product. So we're going to be switching that up a little bit in my salads, making chicken salad instead, which is great for me for lunch. I love that.
And keep in mind, I'm not saying he can't have any carbs at night. Right. I'm just saying, like, let's say he did have a meat and vegetable. If he was going to have, let's say, some brown rice, instead of having, you know, a cup or a pile, have, you know, half. So I definitely don't want to, unless he can't have any carbohydrates at night. It's just got to be, you know, much more limited than it would have been at lunch or at breakfast. Yeah, I'm just thinking, try to get rid of them, and I know I'm going to have some. Because I love the bread. Instead of big pieces of bread, I'm using those Oro Wheat Thins. You know, if I'm going to have them at all. But yeah, it's going to happen at night. But I'm trying to limit them as much as I can. I've been eating a lot, obviously, like she said. We calculated some of the pastas I'm eating at night. He was having 2 servings of pasta, which it's 4 ounces. It's not a huge amount of food. However, 1 serving of pasta actually has, I believe, 43 or 45 grams of carbs. So double that. 90 grams of carbs at night. So that's where it was a problem. Again, not bad for you, just not the right kind of foods to eat at night.
And you're going to see the recipe online. I'm going to have a video for you guys. We filmed it. It's a Valentina's off of her cookbook. You'll see all the details in one of the next videos midweek. It's a great, very healthy meal. We're talking raw vegetables. We're talking whole wheat pastas. And, very little oil. And it's a really good recipe, but it's still a lot of carbs. And I didn't think of that. I was just thinking, I'm eating so healthy. I'm eating raw vegetables, And
well, it really was healthy. But what I recommended that he can tweak, and you can do that. You get really creative. He's putting in an entire 16-ounce thing of pasta, and he's divided it into 4 servings. Well, that's 2 servings for each container, which for lunch is fine, but not for dinner. So I told him, portion it out even further so that for lunch you only have 2 ounces of the pasta and more of the vegetables and the meat or whatever, and then for the lunch portions you can have a little more of the pasta. It's a little more work involved, but it's a way around the problem if you really want that for dinner as well as for lunch. Just different portions of different types of food.
And it's the very same reason we picked up the food scale. So we got the food scale, might as well use it. It's there. And it makes it a lot easier to know what you're doing, what you're eating, and how much you're eating every time. So it's a great way to plan ahead.
And pasta in particular, serving size for 90%, 95% of pastas is 2 ounces, and it's 2 ounces dry. Very hard to predict 1 serving of pasta when it's cooked. I think it's around a cup, but everyone's cup is a little different. So if you really are watching your carbs, I would definitely buy a scale and weigh out your pasta at 2 ounces before you cook it.
Cool. And the second thing we want to talk about is my nemesis. It is sodium. My high blood pressure, my doctor is still on me about it, and even though it's getting down, and she likes that, but it's still high for who I am and my age and everything else. Hell, it's high for anyone right now. But it is going down, which is great. And thanks to Roberta's plan, it is dropping a lot more than it has in the past too. I've done limited sodium before and it dropped some, but it's never dropped down this much. I'm really happy about that. But once again, it's still high, and having high blood pressure for a long period of time is very dangerous for your body. It's very strenuous on your veins and everything else, and it's working on your body and your heart and everything. You do not want to mess around with this. So we're going to talk a little bit about sodium because it is very important to giving your high blood pressure and keeping it down.
Yeah, well, when he did the food log, what I noticed was he had the turkey canned chili, and what he was doing was he was taking the can and then mixing it up with some fresh turkey and having it for lunch. Well, he was having the whole can. Yeah. So the turkey chili from the store, the cans, they don't have a lot of fat, but sodium level, now there's supposed to be 2 portions in a can. He was having the whole can. Yeah. 1 portion, I believe, has 700 or 800 milligrams of salt. Yeah. So now double that. So it's a little crazy, and so I think, and he's having that a lot. Yeah, he really likes it.
Well, it was really easy too. I just put a can in the plastic, I put the meat in the plastic, I throw it in the freezer, take it to work, and just heat it up, and boom, it's super easy lunch.
Yeah.
But we're going to change that.
Yeah, so I have a recipe for turkey chili in my book that he's going to try. It's much healthier, much less sodium. When he buys the cans to make the chili, get all the low sodium versions of the cans. So they sell low sodium beans, low sodium, just about everything now. So keep everything to low sodium, and that's going to be much, much, much healthier for you.
Now, it does take a little bit longer to prepare the chili. In the beginning, it takes a little bit more work, which is good. You get a little time in the kitchen. Nothing wrong with that. But when you make a huge amount of it, I've got this huge pot, like this big. I want to make the whole pot, put it in portions, and put it in the freezer. It's just as easy as warming up a can of chili, and it's a heck of a lot more healthy.
Oh, and here's a tip, by the way. A lot of people will buy like 1,000 containers to put stuff in their freezer. The trick is to put it in a container, put it in the freezer, the next day pop it out of the container, put it in tin foil, put it back in the freezer, and then you have your container back.
Wow.
And they also stack up a lot smaller in your freezer.
That's a good one. Yeah, I didn't think of that.
You didn't know that?
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay. I thought I told you that one. Yeah, my mom taught me that. Thanks, Mom. So it saves a lot of space, and it definitely saves you from buying 1,000,000 containers. So.
Yeah, I was going to go buy 1,000,000 containers, honestly.
Now you don't need to. Pop it out and put it in some tin foil.
Nice. Cool.
Yeah.
I'll do that. This last week was good. I got to the gym twice and got a really good exercise at the gym, and I got to walk around the office around 4 times. I'm definitely going to do more this week. Last week I had some excellent excuses as to why I didn't get to the gym. I mean, oh man, let me tell you, working late and then I was too tired, or just great excuses.
Little violin.
Yeah.
Little violin.
Exactly. And honestly, that's the truth. There are very few excuses that really, really pan out. I have some great ones, and they're all, yeah, that.
Yeah. And we are at week 9 here. So this can be a point where people start to lax a little bit because you've lost a good amount of weight and you're kind of feeling good. You're like, oh, well, maybe I don't have to do this as much, or maybe I don't have to do that. You can't do that. You really got to keep plugging along and just keep concentrating that. Even if it's 5 pounds a week, you got to keep it going, and that's really, really important. And when you get into 2 months and 3 months and 5 months, it tends to get a little easier to be lackadaisical about it. So just keep plugging along, no excuses. And if you have a bad week, then just make sure the next week's twice as good. Yeah.
As always, check out Roberta's YouTube channel right here in the link below, and look at the description way down there. We're going to have a link to the recipe for that chili that I'm going to make this week, and well, hopefully it'll taste great. You know what? It'll taste
great.
All right. Thanks a lot, everybody.
Bye for now.
See ya.